Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judges, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
I can't keep it to myself. My heart will burst with all of this in it. I can't keep it to myself. I must tell it. Yes, sir. Even if God has forbidden me to tell it, I can't help it. By nature, I will be whispering.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me okay. I got a fancy new headset on that I'm been using when I've been traveling for my Zoom calls and shows. So welcome to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talk, where we talk about life, love, and business. And we got a lot to talk about today. Um, wow, it's Mother's Day weekend. So welcome and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day to my mother who is watching. And we're hanging out this weekend. And we had the birth anniversary of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on Thursday. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm born again. I'm telling you, I'm born again. And he said some things that I felt like he was talking directly to me. But he has a way of making us all feel like that. So we're going to explore just how I felt and hoping that it sparks you all into making it practical in your life. One of the things that I like to say that I specialize in is I learned very a long time ago to take the teachings and then create sort of like a roadmap or a policy or a procedure that will help me throughout life. So whether it's in business, whether it's in person, um, whatever it is. And so what I want to do is spark that in each and every one of you today, because I believe that a prophecy for one is a prophecy for all, for the most part, in your own way. So if I felt like I received prophecy on Thursday, I'm pretty sure that you did too. You did as well. And so as we're all on this journey of evolution, I want us to start off. I'm going to announce y'all in the chat because I see y'all popping a little bit this morning. Um, I saw Brother Lamont. I see Sister Aletha, Brother Kevin, Sister Sandra. I see y'all in there. Okay. Um, Burnout Podcast. Walaikum Salam. Grand Rising. Yes, yes. So we serving up beauty today. Okay. Um, I decided to be outside, give y'all a little greenery, a little wood. Um, I had a busy week. I'm a little tired today, so I hope I'm not looking too tired. Um, anyway, I want to talk first about and just remind you all. You all see up, it's right here, up here in the corner, the commemorative Elijah coins. Did y'all see the minister receive those 1 ounce gold bullion cubes yesterday or Thursday? I know a lot of y'all did because a lot of y'all have been inboxing me with questions about commodities. And I'll come on a little later this week to talk about those commodities and things like that. Some of you all now want to know what's the best way to buy it. Um, we have so when you have a unique commodity, I'll just say this, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad commemorative Elijah coins, you have the value of the copper, which is whatever the market value is. But then when you buy things that are either unique or in a collectible form, or you have something that's collectible, you get a premium to your value. Okay. So Minister Ishmael was describing the gold, for example, that they gave the minister, the Mecca and Medina pieces. And because it's given to him, the collectability of it will increase the value. So if gold is 2,000 an ounce, somewhere around there now, you'll get a premium because of who holds it, what it means, what the value of it is. So instead of it just being $2,000 an ounce, it's actually worth more than that an ounce because of who it was given to, because of the uniqueness and collectability of it. Okay. And you can buy these commodities in any forms. You can buy the cubes, you can buy the raw coins, or you can buy the minted coins. You can buy the graded coins, minted and graded. So that's why I say to you all that I think the Honorable Elijah Muhammad started us off on something. And I literally have been feeling this for years, with the value of commodity and gold, which is why when we were tearing down the copper, it just came coins. We're making these coins. So we made these beautiful commemorative Elijah coins. And this is what we're using to complete the construction of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum. And you see across the bottom the way in which you can purchase the coin, the way in which you can support the coin. We're going to use that home to uplift the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, enshrine his star student there with him, and really have it really as an opportunity for continued representation of our self-improvement and our evolution as a people. Okay. So I'm going to come out and have some conversations and start talking to us a little bit more about gold, silver, copper, commodities, um, which leads me into what I wanted to talk about today. All right. So the minister made a comment, a few comments, and one that, you know how they say a hit dog will holler? Yeah, he hit me in the head with this one. He said, "Stop hiding from Allah." Then he said, "You may be saying, how am I hiding?" by not being yourself. And I'll tell you something that I've been learning to do more, and it's an evolutionary process, right? See, I came up as a professional where I segregated a lot of my talents, but I always had a lot of stress because I knew that Allah had deposited so much brilliance in me, but I was never not able to use it across the board. So what I started to learn to do was to relax into myself, and things that I know about, things that I'm almost a subject matter expert about. A lot of times I don't say anything about it. Sometimes I pick up on things and I don't say anything. I just let it flow. But I say, you know what? When he said by not being yourself, I said, you know what? I'm going to be myself. I'm going to stop disrespecting Allah and all that he's given me and gifted me of himself by not being myself. So y'all gonna see more intuitive Wendy. You're gonna know a little bit what's coming up out of this this multi-sensory brain of mine. Some of the stuff that I know about economics and finance, I'm gonna talk more about it. I've spent a lot of time in the corporate world and in the financial world, traveling around the world, and I don't talk about it that much. But I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. And so he talked about that's a way to be attractive, and that's a way to demonstrate our beauty. And he made these beautiful analogies of compare of contrasting, not contrasting, marrying his personality with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and wanting him all up in him. He was really in that receiver mode, that's that feminine quality of pulling somebody into yourself and reflecting them. And then he made a comment. He said, and when you have that kind of connection, you're saying, I wonder what our children will look like. And I was as I was looking out at the audience, and I said, look at their children. Look at the children that they have produced together. And so I know I'm one of those children. I'm a product of that love, of that marriage. Um, I live my life and give my life for that. And I remember when I first came in the nation, Sister Virginia taught us something, and I say it to myself all the time. It says, I came from Allah, and Allah is my goal. Therefore, no trial nor misfortune can disturb the course of my life, which has a much higher goal than mere comfort. Come what may, the contentment of my mind will never be disturbed. We want to give our life. He went through the anxiety and grief prayer, which was powerful. Powerful. It's a prayer I say often. The messenger said we should be saying it as many times a day. I'm paraphrasing him, but we should be saying it all day. I say that a lot. You can only imagine that in business, how important it is to repeat that prayer. I actually keep it on my desk at my computer so that I look down on it, even especially during the pandemic, between meetings. But it's a little card that I have that has the anxiety and grief prayer on it that I actually also keep in my wallet when I travel. So I just go in there and grab it. It's kind of like a little token of something that reminds me of who I am. So also what I was thinking about, and I was looking at the minister, and I was thinking about our mothers and our family. How do we properly, right, represent the sacrifice of our mothers other than by being ourselves? And he said that our life and being of service and giving our life is what is of value. So think about the legacy on this Mother's Day weekend of our mothers, and how the work that we do, and the more authentic we are, the more we actually honor them. See, we can buy stuff, we can do all kind of things, but as we're moving into this phase of legacy building and intergenerational wealth as a people, we have to understand the value of continuing the legacy, right? Because each person that comes after us should be a new and improved version of ourselves. And so by us continuing to grow and evolve and to do better, we are moving into that space where people can say, I see my legacy. There's nothing more rewarding than to see somebody that you taught or gave birth to or shared life with than to look at them and say, look at that. Look at that. That's real, right? That's real talk. But what I really want to talk today about is beauty. And I said we're going to serve beauty today. What does that mean? It's a play on words, right? You know how in the fashion industry, if you look good and you dressing nice, they say you serving it, girl. Okay, there's that. But then there's also that piece of being of service. And then the minister talked about beauty. And beauty, these are my words, being synonymous with Allah. And I told you all that one thing that I say I do all the time is I look for Allah everywhere in everything. And so if we're serving beauty and he's telling us to serve the God inside of each and every one of us or everybody that we meet, because we're looking for God, we want to be of service to that beauty. What does that mean? And I'm going to break it down practically for us. Let me say, he said, if you radiate the beauty of God, you will be attractive. People will want to be in your company and they feel good being in your company. You all know we talk about that on the manifestation series, being an asset. But let's break this down practically because I know everybody gets what I mean theoretically. Here's a practical thing. When you go somewhere and you see somebody and you speak about somebody, what's the first thing you say about somebody? Do you speak negativity about them? Do you automatically notice the negativity about a person? Like, damn, he done got fat. Or damn, she looking such and such. Or do we try to scan the person to find some good and speak on that first? See, if you find yourself, and this is where you got to be honest with yourself in your quiet moments, because the problem with most of us is that we're phony. We're phony even to ourselves because we'll sit here and go, oh yeah, I'm good. I respect people. I'm all of that. But when you see somebody, what's the first thing you say to yourself about them? Do you overanalyze them? Do you look at their clothes and go, I don't know if I would have wore that? Or what are you saying that's of good? See, I try to make it a habit that when I look at somebody, even if something negative comes up in my brain, because what we're balancing, right, is what we're picking up about the person versus what we think about them. But in order to pull the God out of them, we have to serve their beauty, which means we got to look for the God, we got to look for the beauty in that person, and then we have to speak to that God and to that person. But you can't speak to that God and you can't speak to that person if you automatically, as every time you see the person, you think something negative. Why does she wear that hat? I don't know about that color. You got to find something good to say. You got to find something grateful to say. You got to find something godlike to say. That's got to be the first thing that come to your mind. Because if you say that you look for God and everything and you support people and you love people, you're lying if the first thought that comes to your mind is a negative one or a critical one or even a competitive one about that person. So we talking about taking this down to a granular level. What's your first thought? Are you like, yeah, bet she see me. I know she do. What's your thought? What's your first thought when you think of that person? Ooh, they look a little sick. I don't know. Or if you can't think of anything to say, maybe just say, I'm glad they're able to be here. Or something. Sometimes you can just say, I thank you, Allah. Maybe you don't even like the person and you can't stand them so bad that you can't find any good. You can't even say that the color, even if they wearing your favorite color, you can't even acknowledge them because you don't like them, so you don't even like your color on them. I don't know. I'm being silly. But the point is, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, because the things that hold us back in life, see, we all have an inordinate view of ourselves, to quote the study guides. We all think more of ourselves than what we really should. So a lot of us, we think that we're this big time, this or that, but more than likely we're not. And we're not because there are blind spots and there are things that are holding us back, and it's little stuff like what we're talking about today. So if we're looking for Allah in everything, then we have to really look for Allah in everything. And the way to practice it, I practice it by using nature. So I'll go outside, and one of the things I've been really grateful for lately is the amount of greenery that's popping up in our Chicagoland area, all the green, all the flowers. When I see wood, I try to acknowledge, and I'm grateful for the grains. I'm grateful for the birds. I'm grateful for any sound that I hear. And then I start taking it into my body. I'm grateful for my skin. I'm grateful for my face. And so I'm taking in God's presence, and I'm reflecting back to Him that I'm grateful for His presence inside of me and around me. And so when people come around, a lot of us will do that, but then when other people come around, we get we get ugly with that. I mean, sometimes you got to say something about somebody that's not so flattering, but not don't let that be the first thing you say. Don't let that be the first thing you say. If you walk into a store, here's an example, and the person in there is maybe not that attractive. Instead of saying something about that person being not attractive to yourself, say something like, I'm grateful that they're here. I'm glad that there's somebody at the counter at this store that I like to go to, so that when I come in here and purchase things and shop, I can I can buy them, and there's somebody here to wait on me. Instead of going in the grocery store saying, man, it ain't, this store is messed up. First thing you should say to yourself, I'm so glad that I live in a place where I have a variety of stores to shop at, a variety of things that I can purchase. I can walk into a produce market and see this beautiful layout of options for fruits and vegetables. If I want to buy cookies, I can, there's 100 different type of cookies that I can buy. And I'm grateful that I live in a place where I can do that. So I'm just giving you those little examples. Little examples. You pull onto a parking lot. A lot of times what I'll say to myself is, especially if the parking lot's crowded, I'll say, thank you, Allah, for a parking spot. Thank you for there even being a parking lot here, right? Thank you for the people who paved the parking lot, the people who put this together, the people who figured out how many spots that could be there for us to park in. Thank you for that. Thank you for paving this nicely, good concrete or tar or whatever you're driving on. Thank you for that. And those things I do in a few quick seconds. As I'm walking up to the store, I'm like, thank you. Thank you for letting me walk up to this place. Thank you for letting me get up in my right mind and even know and recognize that this is a store. When I see somebody, a lot of times, whatever is negative about them might slap me in the face. And I put that on hold. And I say, I'm grateful for that person and whatever it is that they do. So I try to find one or two things before I entertain what's slapping me in the face. See, because when God is giving you some type of revelation, let's say that person means you danger, right? Or the person is jealous of you, or they got a problem with you. That's not going to go away. You really can't just slap that away. So taking 1 minute to say something that you're grateful about, it ain't going to hurt, because that's for you. That's you depositing something in your bank. So be mindful of that. A lot of times we got a lot of history with people. It's so easy to go to the negative history because society teaches us to be competitive. You know deep down inside whether or not you're a good person. You know deep down inside whether or not you scheming and scamming and doing something wrong against somebody. You know deep down inside whether or not you even like somebody. See, I don't even worry about that kind of stuff. You know why I don't worry about it? Generally, even if I talk about it, I'll talk about it because I feel bad for that person. But what I don't worry about is what somebody might be up to, or if they're envious or they're jealous, because I've long passed that, primarily because sometimes I see people doing things today that I did when I was 19. I see people that I know me, who are envious of me, who probably remember this one thing I was doing at 19, and they finally got an opportunity to do it. And here they are now doing it 30 years or so later. I just go, praise be to Allah for me being able to be an example. So the point is, we know what we say about ourselves, we know what we say about other people. We know if we're really down or not. You know if you got your husband just because you tricked him because you wanted money. You know if you really are just jealous of your homegirl, but you really deep down inside don't like her, and you're really hoping something bad happened to her so that you could be the one that's all that. You know deep down inside if you're coveting your brother's wife. If you a man and you out here looking at your brother's wife going, yeah, I'm scheming and scamming. You know deep down inside if when he comes to you for advice, whether or not you giving him advice because you want them to stay together or because you want them to break up because you want her. You know deep down inside. You know what you're doing. You guess who else knows? You and Allah. Y'all know. So the minister encouraged us to be born again and to get right. And so when people are around you because you're striving to be authentic and you're striving to look for Allah everywhere, even in them. See, the only way to what you want is through your faith. Y'all can type that in the chat. The only way to what you want is through your faith. Interesting, right? Why do I say that? A lot of people say, well, I don't have to have faith to get money or make money or work a job or do my business, but to keep it, you better change who you are. Otherwise, you're going to rotate right back to who and what it is that you actually really and truly are. Is your energy dark? Are you just kind of a Debbie Downer? Do people look at you and just go, I don't know. I don't feel good about that person. What do people see when they look at you? Do they see a beautiful, spiritual, righteous person? Or do they see somebody that's a little fake and phony and they trying to look like they this, but they really that? See, the idea is you got to figure out how to reconcile who you are with what you are, who you are with what you are. So be yourself, accept your own and be yourself and reconcile who you are with what you are, because what you are is a child of God, an original member of the family of God. That's what we are. But who we are is how we identify who we are. Now they got us all mixed up in how we identify. You know, sometimes you get on these Zoom calls and they say, okay, let's get everybody's pronoun right. He, she, we, da, 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 da. I'm like, wow, are they telling us who we want to be? Have they demoralized us to the point where we really have no choice but to be fake? It's the fakeness that we got to work through and we got to navigate through, because the fakeness is what's holding you and I back. Seriously. I know y'all didn't think that because you put your best face on when you go outside, but the fakeness is what's keeping you from having what you want. You probably sitting over there now like, I want this. You got a list of 10 things that you want. but you don't have them, or you keep hitting a glass ceiling and you can't get past that, and you feel like at your age you should be doing more. You feel like you're behind the eight ball, and you're blaming all these other things outside of yourself for why you're behind the eight ball. But the real reason why you're behind and behind the eight ball is because of not being yourself, right? And not reconciling that to what you are. See, the God in you should be looking to match up with the God in others, and the God in other things, and the God in everything. You start matching up and reconciling that. So when you're grateful, don't just be grateful for things that are personal to you. Oh, I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful for my house. Yes, you are. I'm grateful for my clothes. I'm grateful for my, me, me. That's what I'm grateful for. No, 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 no. Be grateful for something outside of yourself. See, because that's what God does. He's not just sitting up there, yes, I'm God. I'm so great. I'm so grateful for being great. He's blessing all of us with his greatness. He's depositing his greatness in each and every one of us. And then all he wants is for us to just recognize it, because he knows us better than we know ourselves. So that's why I say practice on things like nature and say, man, I'm just grateful for the brightness of the sky. I'm grateful for the clouds and the purpose that they serve. I'm grateful for the trees and the way they ebb and flow with the wind. I feel prosperity in the air, and I'm grateful for that. Sometimes I sit outside and I just meditate on the goodness that I feel in the air. Why do I do that? So that I extract the goodness from the atmosphere that I'm in. I'll say, oh, I'm grateful for the wood. I'm grateful for the glass. I pick up my phone sometimes. I say, man, I'm grateful for this little thing. I'm grateful to have hot spot this morning. I'm grateful. So the gratitude has to go beyond us. So that's why when the minister talked about being born again, so let's start over like newborn babies. Let's forget about the fakeness and all of that we were yesterday. Let's forget about all the shenanigans and the negativity and the way we dog people and the way we talk about people like a dog. Let's forget about all that. Let's forget about comparing ourselves to others and always taking score and always looking at what somebody else got and trying to put our foot on somebody's neck when they're down. When they need us, we think that's an opportunity to pounce in and make ourselves look better. Let's forget about all that and be born again today. Let's be born again today. And let's be like a baby and just be looking around for God. Looking around for that source of sustainment, that source of nourishment. The baby's looking for God. The baby's crying for God. The baby wants comfort and warmth and knows that the mother is acting in the place of God for that child. And so they're looking for the warmth, the vibration of their mother, their father. Let's be born again and let's look for Allah everywhere. Look for him everywhere. And let's stop being phony. And do that by asking yourself, what was the first thing that you thought about when you saw me this morning? When I popped on here, what was the first thing you thought about? Was it something good or was it something bad? Right? Was it did you start comparing yourself? Do you go around and go, man, I wish I was like this person, or I wish I was like that person? Are you happy when a person has shortcomings? Let me tell you why that's so stupid. And I have to speak on that because again, we're just taught in this world that we live in. Let's say you see somebody that's temporarily a little down on their luck. They're going through something. Instead of deciding that at that moment you're better than that person, that's when you really should almost get jealous. Trust and believe. I tell people all the time, if you see me going through something, that's when you should get jealous. Because I promise you, I'm going to come out on the other side by the grace and will of Almighty God, Allah, bigger and badder and at so many levels separated from where you are, because you sitting here instead of working on your self-improvement, you so busy gloating because you see me going through something. Trust me, that's when you should get jealous of me. You should be like, uh-oh, Sajdah going through something? Oh, man. What is Allah giving birth to now? That's what you should be saying. Oh, shoot, Allah giving birth. And guess what you should do? You should say, Allah is giving birth to something through him or her, and you should go help them with their labor. People who know me know I check in and say, hey, how's it going? Is there anything I can help you with in terms of your business or whatever is of my talents and skills? I try to see what I can do to help you in your labor, help you deliver what God is depositing in you. But instead, we're the exact opposite of being godlike. We see somebody going through something, we see somebody doing something. We use that as an opportunity to be just like the predators of the world, disaster economy, crisis economy, where they want to capitalize off of what you're going through instead of coming and saying, "Ooh, they're going through something. There's a struggle happening in that person's life. There's contrast happening in that person's life." What does that mean? That means that that person is being guided and directed and molded, and that person is in labor. And so you should be coming to that person to aid them through that birthing process while they are in labor. You don't look at somebody in labor and just leave them there on the floor and walk away and go, that hurt. We don't do that. You go to that person, you give them some ice chips, you put a cold pack on their head, you help them out. And in this case, this type of spiritual labor, men can be in labor as well. So go to that person that's in labor. They might be trying to give birth to a new business, a new project, a new opportunity. They just may be giving birth to a new them, working on losing weight, trying to be healthier, just trying to live, to be newer and live a long life. You should rush to help that person give birth. Don't ever rush to see if you can capitalize off of somebody and dog somebody because they're going through something. Because let me tell you, all you're doing is making them more and more beautiful when they come out on the other side. Trust me, I'm just telling you. Think about it like that. Here's another thing. Okay, he said, you want to see the good first. Some of us see people and the first word of it. This is me talking. Skip that part. Okay, when you talk to someone, you talk to and look for the God in them. He talked about that, and you all know we've been talking about this on the manifestation series. He says that the kingdom is up inside of each and every one of us, and through being our authentic selves, we should be able to make all of our ends meet. And I'll tell you for myself, when I'm working on something and I get a little stuck, the first thing I do is I say, let me give. And so I was just so touched when the minister had said how he had been giving on his special day all day. And for me, when I'm in need, I give. When I'm in need, I give. Because I never want to create a subtraction type of life where I'm walking around and I'm extracting from everything and I'm holding it and hoarding it like I'm not going to ever get another blessing. See, that's a lot of times how people act. You see somebody hurting, and instead of giving to them, you pull back because you don't want to get involved. You don't want to be a part of it. But when I'm in need, I give. And so when I'm in a project or I'm working on something and it's like it's stuck, it's a piece of the puzzle, I'm trying to figure it out, I start giving. I start giving in word and giving in deed and giving in spirit and trying to give to Allah. Allah, I want to give to you and reflect to you what's around me so that at some point it'll click into place and I'll move past that. And every time I start to pay attention to what's happening around me. But I'm careful not to look at it when it comes to other people like I'm keeping score. A lot of people sometimes, and this is another thing um, to keep in mind. Think about the last 5 things that you've done, whether it's a house you bought, whether it's something you've done for somebody. Did you do that because you were competing against somebody else? Or did you do it because it was just something that reflected you? See, I'm like the minister. I like nice stuff. I like nice things. I like silk fabrics and cashmere, and I love beautiful things. And so I will save up my resources to get something beautiful. I'll stay in the house if I have to, just to go and get something beautiful. But I like beautiful things. I like nice stuff. I like nice cars and nice houses and nice clothes and nice people. I like nice perfumes and things like that. I like nice hair, nice skin. I like nice things. I think most of us do. And so I believe that those nice things, they help me in my reflection of God. If nothing else other than to just say, I manifested that. I did it. I got it. Now let's move on. What's next? Where am I going next? What's my next challenge, Allah? What do you want to give birth to? So it's always involving Him. It's always that process of moving through. And most of you all know who have brought me on as a coach, you know that that's one of the things that I will work with you on is creating that flow and unclogging those pipes. Some of my coaching clients are here in the chat, but working through unclogging that spiritual pipe so that you understand how not to get stuck. Most of us aren't able to even give and be nice to people because we're so afraid that if we're nice to somebody, that it's going to take away from us. Some of us are so afraid to give because we're worried that if we give something, it's going to take away from what we have and we ain't going to have no more. So in those coaching sessions, and I just have 2 clients who finished, so I got 2 slots that are opening up. All you have to do is go to the link in the bio on my social media pages and click book a session. If you buy one, I'll give you one for free. And one of the things that I work with you on, this is on the coaching, is to help you create that flow. And when you create that flow, there's a lot of things connected to that flow. There's love connected to that flow. There's money connected to that flow. All these things that we most of the time are worried about, our health is connected to that flow. Our physical bodies are connected to that flow. And so I'll help you with working to open up so that those things flow through you, because what's clogging most of us is our phoniness. That's what's clogging up most of our ability to be successful, is that we're fake. And because we're faking it and it's too hard for us to keep it real, what do? We go to the alternative stuff. We smoke cigarettes, we eat junk food, we have we become promiscuous, we do all kind of things that we know we shouldn't be doing, that's demoralizing us. And once a person is demoralized, then you'll do anything because you have no standard. Once a person is demoralized, then you are susceptible to being under the control of satanic forces and evil forces that come in the form of other people. So that controlling, that negativity, that person that just drops all those negative seeds in you, if they've demoralized you, once they've taken you off your square, now they own you. They can control you. They can take away all the rest of your rights because they've demoralized you. So, in working on our morality, what am I talking about? Respect, um, your character, who you are, how you handle people. Are you shady? Sometimes, believe it or not, a lot of times we're scary because we're demoralized. A lot of people say, I've been stuck. I'm stuck on this job. I've been here 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Likely you're scared. And you have to ask yourself, well, what am I scared of? You're scared because you're not yourself. Because if you were yourself, you would bet on yourself and you step out on faith and say, I bet on me. This is what I love about entrepreneurship and doing for self and being a conscious entrepreneur, which is another some of the coaching that I'll do where I can help you with some detailed issues that your businesses may have. Because remember, your business has a flow too. Your projects have a flow. And so we talk about techniques and things and ways in which I can help you tweak the energy of your business so that the energy and the money begins to flow through to you. Most of the time, we're scared because we're not ourselves. Most of the time, we're stuck because we're not ourselves. Most of the time, we reach a plateau. I've reached plateaus at certain points in my career. I remember when I first got to $100,000 a year. And I felt like I was stuck there. I got up to like 119, 120. I felt like I was stuck there. What did I have to do? I had to go inside of myself and recreate myself. And then I attracted more. I got up into the twos. I was working for a consulting firm and I was in the twos for a long time. I couldn't break that barrier. But then I realized, I said, oh, there's something more that Allah wants me to do. I got to step out. I got to stop playing it so safe. I got to stop being scared. So I got to fix what's inside of me that's making me insecure, that's causing me to want to play it safe and to be scared and not bet on myself. Soon as I did that, something happened that on the surface to other people might look bad. I was supposed to be made a partner and they didn't do it, and then it was all a bunch of drama. But guess what? I end up going out getting my own clients, and immediately that next year I quadrupled my income. And that was from stepping out and betting on myself and putting in the spiritual labor. And then I went from there to ended up building a hospital, building a series of clinics, traveling around the world doing healthcare and things like that. And the reason being is because I had to get rid of those insecurities. Those insecurities cause you to compare yourself to somebody else, cause you to be envious, cause you to be jealous. At the end of the day, listen, let me tell you something. What's for you is for you. What's for me is for me. And ain't nothing that neither one of us can do about it. So on this Mother's Day weekend, on this anniversary of the birth of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who has been our mother and our father, on this special weekend honoring the mother, honor your authentic self. Send their legacy throughout the annals of time by doing good into the world. People will say something about your mother and your father because of what you did. Be a reflection. Be better. Be beautiful. Serve beauty. Everywhere you go, serve it up. Serve some beauty. Serve up God. Serve up the authenticity that's in you. Serve up the beauty that's in that other person. You should be scanning people to see, I see that beauty right there, and snatch it up out of you. When you get on a coaching session with me, and I didn't mean to talk so much about the coaching, but this is a technique that I use. When you're talking to me, I'm scanning you for beauty, for God, for what I can help tap and bring out of you so that you can move on after those sessions and do better and better. And some people come back for a retweet, but I'm literally scanning you. The minute we get on the phone or the minute we get on the Zoom, I'm scanning your spirit for God so that I can tap that. Sometimes I see God dormant. He's laying way in the back of your personality, curled up in a ball. And I'll tap it and say, "Wake up, God." That's and that's what I believe that we all should be doing. So thank you all. I'm gonna end a little early today. I see Sister Alicia in the chat. Sister Alicia has been one of my coaching clients. Greetings, greetings to everyone. I see y'all up in here. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This Thursday on the show, we're going to be talking to some of our new graduates, our new Muslim college graduates. We're going to talk about nation building. We're going to talk about how we have to support them, about being intentional. And a lot of y'all are probably saying, "Man, it's so much to do." Well, it's a lot. It's a big responsibility being a free person. It's a big responsibility being a God. See, when you're a slave, you ain't really got to worry about nothing. You just sit back and whoever is your master, they do everything for you. They think for you. They feed you. They feed you what they want to feed you. They tell you what to think. They make you live where they want you to live. They do everything for you. You don't have to think about nothing. They tell you even what your history is going to look like. They all of that. They tell you. But when you step up and you taking responsibility, but things like preserving the legacy of yourself, your family, building museums, all that kind of stuff, it's a lot of responsibility. And it's a little bit different from living a life as a slave. And so when people live their life as a slave, it's kind of hard for them to deal with you because they looking at you like, "Girl, that ain't worth it." It is, because I don't have an option of going back to being a slave. That's it, y'all. Peace and blessings. So thank you, thank you. Please make sure if you have not gotten your commemorative Elijah coin, go out and get your commemorative Elijah coin. If you are saying that you can't get your coin right now and you just want to donate, I put the donation link to go across the bottom. We are up against the clock. The minister said he wants this house finished this year. I told him, I said, "Me too." And so that's why you see your sister on here looking tired, traipsing up and down the country, speaking engagements, doing projects. I've had some projects that I probably needed to hire a couple people for, but I was like, I'm going to thug this out and pull a couple of all-nighters just to get the extra money to put into the house. So we working, we grinding, and a little help with the labor would be great. So, all right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Love your mothers this weekend. Shout out to my mom. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you all. Happy Mother's Day to myself. I haven't actually given birth to any children, but I got a lot of children. But I'm always giving birth to ideas, and I stay in my feminine mode. I stay in that creative, receiving mode. I stay in that loving, I want to spoil somebody mode. That's just a mode that I try to be in. Usually the only other mode that you'll see me in is one where I'm just reflecting, going inside of myself, where I get a little quiet and I just need a little time to just kind of see what I'm feeling sometimes. Um, and that's just something that I learned about myself um, over time. All right. Anyway, y'all, peace and blessings. Let's see what else I'm gonna tell y'all. Thursday, we got that coming up. Stay close. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page because I'll be announcing a few things. A lot of y'all did want me to come out and talk about commodities, and I might tape a show between now and Thursday about commodities and finance. So I'm gonna speak a little bit more on my background, and I'm born again, y'all. So you about to get all of the authenticity that is Sajdah. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Let me see. Somebody else says something in the comment. Okay, thank you. Happy Mother's Day. Beautiful blessings to all the mothers. That is exactly right. All right, peace and blessings, y'all. Love y'all.